the situation that I'm in, what we're trying to do is be honest with our customers, and that's how I look at this.
More value.
I can't notice benefit between the two.
Why is it made then?
I don't know.
And let's just get to some of the good stuff where we were popping off. Boom, 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 boom.
There's
All right, guys, we're heading into the middle of Cheese Country, Wisconsin to McFarland's. We're gonna meet up with Corey, and we're gonna be looking at two machines made by Kubota, one of which he says don't buy, and I'm gonna have to agree with him. Two machines we're gonna be looking at, the power to weight ratio is very similar. The biggest discrepancy between these two machines is price, which makes me question why Kubota would make it in the first place. To me, the uneducated consumer could migrate toward the bigger machine thinking it's better. Bigger is better. It's going to outperform the smaller machine, when in reality, practical experience says the exact opposite. In that case, my mind says, is Kubota trying to pull a fast one on its customers? Does Kubota actually care about the people that are buying these pieces of equipment? I'm not jumping to conclusions saying that they don't, but it really makes me think, why did they make this second machine if it's not going to outperform the first one, if it's going to be more expensive, and it's not going to do anything more for the end user? It sets up a lot of red flags in my book about how Kubota is thinking and if they actually really care about their customers. I'll just let you guys watch this video and you guys tell me what you think. Corey, how are you today, Corey?
good, buddy. How are you?
Good. Now, Corey's with McFarland's, and Corey sells all stuff Kubota. He sells Fendt, he sells Massey, Ferguson.
Bunch of stuff.
Bunch of stuff. And Corey actually runs the equipment that he sells. And one of the things that you warned me about not buying is right over here. But before we look at it, why are you saying this to me, Corey?
You know, biggest thing is I've snow plowed this lot for the last 7 years. And when you and I first originally talked about a loader tractor,
yep,
I pushed you towards the 530.
The Kubota. Now this is a Kubota 540,
which is just the updated version of yours. There's a few things that are allowing it to be able to have more visually seen things, but these two are very identical as far as the model sizes that they are. 540, 640, lower horsepower, higher horsepower, a little more weight, less weight. But we can't tell the difference.
Okay. What do you mean you can't tell the difference?
So what we did this year is we've always plowed with a 540.
Yep.
Same as you. You've got that 530. Like I said, there's no difference in how those two operate. It's just difference of
And
cab.
we love the 530.
Yep.
I'm going to go on the record saying the 530 will outplow and keep up with our much higher horsepower SDLG, the Sledge, which is a 74 horsepower machine, and this is what, 50? Mine is a 50 some horsepower machine.
Same thing.
Now the Kubota R,
it's like a 63 or something like that.
But there's no benefit to that machine?
So I cannot notice a benefit when we're plowing snow. I can't notice a benefit between the two.
Why is it made then?
I don't know.
I love it when we can actually get a rep that will tell you the 100% straight truth right from the horse's mouth from someone that runs both of them. Now, if you guys have had the opportunity to run a Kubota R540 or R530 and then the higher one, we want to hear from you. But what are you seeing? What are the basic differences between these machines?
It's weight and power. Those are your basic difference. There's a little bit taller of a tire height, but there's no difference in speed. And truthfully, what we're doing is going to be a lot of this pusher work. We're pushing long distances. This is a huge parking lot, and all of our snows we try to pile at the far end, and when we push that pile at the end, I can't tell the difference which machine I'm in.
Okay, so the R540 weighs, do you know what the specs on this thing
you're
are?
roughly at like that 10,000 pounds, and then I think you're roughly at like that 11,000 pounds on that machine base weight. Kind of like what we did with yours. Fluid fill in these tires, fluid fill in those tires. We wanted to have a really comparable option because when I talked to customers this year while I was plowing,
yep,
I flat out told them, I said, guys, I'm all for you if you want to spend extra money, but if you want to take my opinion on a real life style, this machine's going to do everything it needs to do as what that machine will be for less money.
More value. You're not saying this is a bad
I'm not saying
machine.
it's a bad machine, but definitely more bang for your buck when you're looking at this machine.
So this one has more value because you're just getting, you're spending less money to get equal performance.
Absolutely.
Okay, why did they even make this machine, Corey?
You know, and my thing is I'm guessing it was a weight class scenario, but even like lifting performance, one of the things that we've done with this machine is lifted equal weight, tried to feel that equal tip.
All right, just to be clear, Corey has plowed in both machines. He's lifted pallets with both machines. He's handled bulk materials with both machines, and he sells both machines.
The situation that I'm in, what we're trying to do is be honest with our customers, and that's how I look at this.
So you're not really out here telling people to buy this machine because they're going to spend more money, but they're not going to feel a difference in performance.
If this machine was 3 miles an hour faster, it's probably worth it for me, but it's not.
Is it the
same
exact
speed?
Exact same speed?
Yep.
Just a little bit of a different frame.
Just a little, well, yeah, a little bit of a different frame. It's got a little bit more back end weight. Like I said, tires are slightly larger.
So it's going to be more difficult to transport going down the road because it's a heavier machine.
Yep. If you're going to trailer it, obviously you're going to need a different type of restrictions for the weight class of this one versus this one.
Let's not breeze over that. That smaller Kubota allows you to squeak by, and you may be able to, with the right truck and trailer combination, get by without requiring a CDL to tow that thing down the road. Where with the bigger unit, it's just at that tipping point where it's going to be a lot more difficult to get that under the radar.
This one, you're going to be a 3/4 ton pickup truck and be able to get it down the road. This one, you're more than likely going to have to require a CDL depending on your state, but...
All right, so let's pop inside and take a look at what we're seeing. Now we're in the Kubota R640. Next size up. Does this have a higher stance? A little higher stance?
A little bit higher in the seat. A little bit. Very, very minimal, but a little bit.
So what we're talking about is, what's the difference in price then, Corey?
It's roughly around like that 10 grand, 8, 10 grand.
So for 8, 10 grand, you're not getting a very serious difference in performance.
And one of the things that like we as a dealership try to do is we try to utilize the equipment that we sell. So in this particular situation, I didn't know the difference. I've sold these before.
Yep.
But when I'm an active user of a piece of equipment, I get to have a little bit better of an opinion, in my opinion.
Because you actually use
because
it?
I'm actually using them.
Right, let's go in the 540, take a look.
I mean, are you blown away by the differences?
There's no difference. Like if I wouldn't know, if you took the numbers off, I don't know if I would be able to tell. Off camera, Corey actually told me a story of the time that he hopped in the 640 thinking it was the 540. It was a blizzard out and he had to get the lot cleared before everybody came in the morning. So he jumped in the loader, hooked up the pusher, plowed all night long, and when he finally hopped out, realized that he'd been in the 640 thinking he was in the 540 and didn't notice a difference in performance. Okay, which is why you're saying buy this, don't buy that, because when you buy this, you're going to save $8,000 to $10,000. You're not going to feel any difference in performance from here to there.
I don't believe you do. What I've done with this machine is primarily snow plowed with it. I haven't seen a difference in it. I've also done a lot of lifting, which I believe a loader like this is a lot of times are nice pallet fork style machines, picking up off of semis, things like that, lot machine. Never really noticed a difference as far as weight capacity of what it can hold, can't hold.
And the difference in horsepower is almost offset by the difference in weight.
Yep.
So it's really coming down to no difference.
When you're talking power to weight ratio, absolutely.
They could have skipped this and just made one machine and just delivered the value to the customer, in my opinion. I seriously question why Kubota would have made this machine in the first place if there isn't a big difference in the power to weight performance. The cab configuration is almost identical, except there is a pretty big difference in the price tag. What is that telling you about how they view their customers? It makes me question them. And here's another thing that makes me question Kubota. They work with a lot of different social media influencers, and some of them have zero practical experience running any kind of equipment, let alone buying it and making a living with it. Some of the guys they've chose to use for their promoting their equipment don't know anything about equipment, but they'll try to come off on social media like they do. So take everything you hear on social media with a grain of salt from these guys.
There is nothing better than your dealer support. If you can find local dealer support that you trust, even if it's a different color, like to me, that is your best buy.
Yes, because they all break down. All of them break down. But this is one of those things that just didn't make sense to me. Kind of raised a red flag. It raised a red flag with me, because when I see a dealership doing this, what they did here, it says, why? It's almost like it's a money grab to me, right? And I actually start to take it a little bit personal, right? Because it's almost like guys that don't know better are going to go, oh, that's a 640. And if a dealer's going to, oh, yeah, it's got more horsepower, they're not going to say, oh, you know, all they're seeing is more dollar bills, right? More sales for their company.
But and there's still those customers out there that it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be bigger, needs to have more horsepower. If that's my option, that's my option.
Agreed. And that's fine. If that's the way you are, good for you, man.
I'm not that way. I want value. Value for,
Dollars are hard to come by.
I got a question for you on this.
Yeah.
Because value-wise, are you going to make more money on that one, snow plowing?
No, I'm not. It's not going to have an increase in performance. It's going to cost me more right straight out of the gate. I'm going to get paid the same hourly. If I'm doing it on a per push basis and there's no improvement in performance on this thing, there's no reason for me to spend an extra $8,000 to $10,000. I can't put a bigger pusher on it. It's not going to move more snow. It makes no freaking sense in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to buy the machine that's going to perform the same as the bigger unit, but for the least amount of dollar bills. Plain and simple. There's no change in resale value, because the actual cost of a piece of equipment isn't based on the purchase price. It's based on the sale price minus the purchase price. That difference is what the actual cost of a piece of equipment is. So I've always said, buy the absolute best piece of equipment you possibly can that has the absolute best resale value to shrink the gap, because I bought them and then used them for a decade and sold them for the same price I bought them.
Yep.
That machine was a free machine at that point. It makes no sense to me. So take all of these things into consideration. For the record, I own 4 pieces of Kubota equipment that I've bought on my own. I own a Kubota SVL 75-2, which for snow plowing is one of the worst pieces of equipment I own in my entire fleet. Even with all season tracks, that Kubota skid loader, basically I have a ASV that will work circles around my Kubota skid loader, and it's in the same weight category and power category. I also own a Kubota 97-2, and for moving dirt, I have never had a better machine than the Kubota 97-2 in that weight category. I own a Kubota R530 loader. I absolutely love it for snow plowing. It is a phenomenal piece of equipment. And I own a Kubota KX-40 excavator, and that is a phenomenal piece of equipment. So with Kubota, you've got good, you've got bad. This is one of those things that made me question what their motives were behind making it in the first place. But that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's got to be worth a thumbs up, because he's willing to do it, I'm willing to do it, and I hope you guys at least enjoyed the ride. That's it for this one, right, Corey?
Thanks, buddy. As always.
Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for putting up with me for all these years, and I hope I'm bringing value to your life. God bless. Go get them, you guys. We'll catch you on another one.